Today's video will take a look at how we can interact with ChatGPT and Google's Gemini models using voice commands. Using Python libraries, we will be creating a simple application using which we can send voice commands and text messages to the LLM models, and we'll get the response back from the computer with the same voice or text as a response. That way, it will be truly something like an Alexa or a Siri that you can develop using AI models and Python libraries. Hi, this is Ashish here and welcome back to Coders Academy. A small appeal: if you like the content that we have been making, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and like and share the content. It motivates us to make more informative videos. So let's jump directly in today's video. So now let's take a look at the demo. So we'll start executing this particular code. So I'm running here Python and my Py file name. Yep, so you've got our application here up and running. So now you can type your message here or you can say it via the voice command. So I'll do the voice command. Hi, can you tell me the capital of France?
Hi there. The capital of France is Paris.
How much is 25 square?
25 squared, or 25 to the power of 2, is 625.
Now I will ask it a question, which I will type it and mention here. So I'll do this send. Let's see what happens.
A large language model is a type of artificial intelligence that can understand and generate human-like text. It learns from massive amounts of text data and uses this knowledge to perform various tasks, like writing articles, answering questions, and
so that's how you can interact with the LLM models using the voice command. In this particular demo, we have made use of Gemini's models, but you can very well change it to OpenAI or Claude AI based on the choice of API key that you have. Okay. Again, all the code that I have mentioned in this particular demo will be available on my GitHub repo. The repo's link will be available in the description box. Let's take a look at the code that we have written. So this is the requirements file. So I have added here multiple libraries for speech recognition and for the LLMs. So earlier I had made use of OpenAI. If you wish, you can disable this and only make use of Gemini. This is the library that you require for interacting with the Gemini models. Then you also have to make the configuration of the API keys in the .env file. I am not opening that right now, but you have to just take a look at the key and add the respective value for it. Now let's take a look at the actual code where all the interaction with the voice commands is happening. So this library, speech recognition, is the one that is required for listening to your speech. PyTTSX3, this is used for the computer to make reading the content and then speaking it out. So using this library, the computer reads your command and then converts it into speech. Generative AI, as I told before, this is the library that you require to interact with the Google's Gemini models. Okay. Particular libraries, so customtkinter, and this particular library is required for creating the UI. So it's something similar to Streamlit that we use. So we start by configuring the basic information like reading the Gemini's API key, initializing the code for the speech components. Okay, so this is how we do that. Further, what we do is we have to also initialize the UI components. So we have given here multiple options like what theme and what is the default theme that you would like to have. This is the main class which will be responsible for doing the voice transformation. So here if you look, this is again the part of the UI code. What is the title, what is the screen size that you would require. We initialize the Gemini model. So we are using Gemini 2.0 Flash for our program today. Okay, this will basically start the history of the command which will be sending it to the Gemini model. So create UI creates the user interface for the project making use of the CTK library. So that is what is happening in this part of the code. It's very simple and intuitive. So we'll not spend too much of time in how the UI is getting created. Our main focus area will be how the interaction with the Gemini models is happening. Okay, so let's jump to that part of the code. Okay, so here is where the real action starts. Okay, so you have a send button there. So you'll take a look at the demo. In the demo, you must have seen there's a mic button there. So it starts with a send message. Okay. So first it starts with the toggling. So it basically checks whether the mic is on or not. Okay. If the mic is on, then it basically calls the function called toggle listening. So if you take a look at this, what it does is basically just flips over the toggle button. Okay. And here there's a text that shows listening. So at this point, the user is allowed to speak about the command. Okay. So what it does is it calls the method called listen for speech. This is a separate method. So while it is listening for the speech, it basically listens to the values. Okay, whatever is the user talking, it's listening to that, and that user input is captured in the variable called user input. Okay, and then once that is done, this user input is going to a method called process input. So this user input needs to be processed, right? So that is what is happening here. In the process input, we have a message here, we have some commands here, and then we call something called as add message. Okay. Yeah. And so this basically checks whether it is an exit command. If it's an exit command, it basically exits from there. Okay. Otherwise, what it does is it goes to the LLM. So here is where the actual action is happening. Generate and speak response. So what it does here is it's calling further generate mini Gemini response where it passes the user's input. So this is the user input. It calls this method. So here if you look, generate a response from the Gemini's API key. Okay. So this is the prompt that we give to Gemini. You are a helpful voice assistant rather. Keep your response brief and then please provide concise and succinct answers suitable for voice interaction, not more than 100 words. Okay, and then whatever is the input given, that input we pass to the Gemini model. So it further calls send message, which basically takes this prompt and calls the invocation, and then which returns a response back. Now this response is finally displayed to the user. Then there are other methods that we have added for checking the dependencies, as you can see here, which are the basic checking for the respective libraries that we want to have. And the main method is here where we check first for the dependencies, we check for the API key. If the API key is not there, we display appropriate warning messages and then we initialize, and then this particular class gets instantiated and the main loop is called. The main loop is the one which is responsible for sending the response request to the Gemini model and getting the response back and showing it to the user. Okay, so that's how it's very simple and straightforward. If you look at it, a lot of code in this is being added because of the UI. Okay, but if you look at it, the heart and soul of interacting with LLM using voice command is not much. Very basic set of commands are involved for listening the user input and then making the computer read the response. Okay, so these are the libraries which are important for that.